Hey you. You having fun? Said I'd give you guys a little wood update. As you can see, I was getting pretty low. But I went and collected up this wood that I had outside in a pile for quite some time. Yeah, I was outside all summer and all this winter. And it's quite heavy. It's pretty dark too. So this stuff's really good for burning at night when you get a really hot fire going. I've just got two little piles here. So hopefully that should help. I'll just have a nice bed of that stuff and throw a piece or two of that on top. And I just got it in on time because, as you can see, it just started snowing. We just got rid of the stuff. Just got rid of it. Now we're calling for 10 to 20 centimeters of snow, so it's going to snow for the rest of this afternoon and into tonight. Tomorrow could be a mess. Fully stacked cradle of wood. Time again to hunker down and wait out the snowstorm. No one wants to be out driving around in this. By the way, I did season my kettle, looking kind of nice and shiny and new again, but I did notice when I just refilled it here, there's a little rust starting up at the top again, but I don't know, maybe that's normal. What a difference, eh? I think it looks better than it looked when I first got it, to be honest. It wasn't, you know, shiny like that because it wasn't oiled up. Probably should have done that when I first got it. Houston, we have a problem. Let me get you up to speed. So last video, I had an issue with DC power. Didn't really know where the problem lied, but I got the power back and that was kind of my concern at the time. I just needed to get to sleep. Fast forward to last night, I ran the generator long enough to dry my hair. And when I shut the generator off, you know, normally there's a power flicker because the power converts from AC back to DC. Well, last night when I shut off the generator, the power went out and stayed out. So the lights went out, the fridge went out, and I was left with no power at all. Had a hell of a job getting the fridge to come back, but eventually I did. But that makes me think there's an issue with my power converter, which I kind of wondered about in the last video. I think it might be failing because power converter, what it does is will switch your power from DC to AC and vice versa. So when I shut off the generator, for whatever reason, it wasn't able to convert that power back to DC power again. So I think the issue might be the power converter. Let me know your thoughts below. Do we have a general consensus that it's the power converter? That's what I think it is, but then again, I'm not overly familiar with those types of things, especially electrical. What I do know is that I don't want that happening again. So I have a solution for now. Maybe it's a temporary solution. Maybe it's a permanent one. Yeah. My thoughts are this. Unplug the trailer from the generator so that when I turn the generator on, oh my goodness. Ugh. So now when I turn the generator on, it's not going to try to convert to AC power from DC power. So instead, I'm going to get a longer extension cord because this one doesn't quite reach. But with a longer extension cord, I'm going to plug it into this here, and I'm really glad that I installed this last year. And then of course, when I turn the generator on, I'll be able to plug in what I need, you know, whether it be a hairdryer or what have you. I'll be able to plug it into these plugs here and do what I need to do. I've mentioned to you guys before, I don't run the generator often at all. I might run it for 10-15 minutes a day, really just long enough to do what I need to do, whether it's blow dry my hair or run the microwave. So I don't need all of the outlets in here to be working. I don't need to convert the power to my fridge when I run it for 15 minutes. I mean, really, when you think about it, I don't need to have my trailer plugged into that generator. I just need to use it for little simple things here and there. Unplugging the trailer, now the power converter really isn't going to need to get used because it's just going to stay on DC power. If I do want to absolutely have that, I mean, I could have an RV technician come check it out, possibly spend hours trying to diagnose the problem and then have to order a converter and then come back, and in the end I think it would be very costly. So I'm trying to avoid that. The one thing that I think will be an inconvenience is my microwave. When I need to use that, I'm either going to have to run an extension cord from here to the plug over here, or I might just have to clear some of this junk and put the microwave over here for a little while. Either way, it's going to be less inconvenient than the cost of a new power converter and the cost of labor for somebody to come and check it all out. And yeah, I'm not familiar with anything like that. So let me know your thoughts below. Does it sound like a power converter to you? Yeah, I just can't have this happening every time I run the generator, you know, where I have to run around to try to get my fridge to come back to life. Good morning. No wonder it's so cold in here. I've got the diesel heater running. Trying to let the fire go completely out so I can go ahead and scoop the ashes and maybe even clean the stovepipe there. Didn't realize it was supposed to snow today, but as you can see, it is. Psst, 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 psst. Ramsey, Ramsey. For some reason, he loves going out there when it's snowing. And a lot of times when the snow builds up down below here on the bottom part of the patio, he runs around like crazy in it. Okay, finally my fan has stopped, so I know that means the fire is completely out. I'm about to scoop the ashes and clean the stovepipe. Diesel heater is still running. But let me show you something. A little chilly out today, -6. I've got the diesel heater set to 23 degrees, and it only seems to be maintaining a temperature of 16 in here. So for that reason alone, you can understand why I can't solely rely on the diesel heater for heat. This camper is just not insulated well enough. If I had done a much better job insulating and so on, yeah, maybe it would be a lot warmer than 16 degrees in here. Oh, -7 now. But yeah, anyway, I've been running the diesel heater for 3 or 4 hours now, and it can't get up to temperature. I mean, 16, it's not the warmest. It's not cold, it's not freezing in here, but yeah. If it were sitting around freezing or a little above, then yeah, I don't think the diesel heater would have any problem keeping temperature, but can't seem to get it warmer than 16 in here. And that's with no windows open or anything. I mean, obviously the patio door over here, there's a bit of a draft, but the pillow's in front of it, so yeah. Also a little tough on the batteries too. 12.2 because, well, the diesel heater's running and the solar panel is full of snow right now. I'm not knocking the diesel heater either, by the way. It is a great source, secondary source of heat. I do realize that, you know, the reason it probably is working so hard to keep it warm in here, or maybe not reaching temperature, in other words, is because I have it outside. So it's obviously working a lot harder that way. But it is a great secondary source of heat. I'm just saying that for me, personally, the #1 source of heat in here is by far the wood stove. Diesel heater, by the way, is great to have so I can set the heater to come on when nobody is home. I've tried to tell the cats, you know, to stog the fire when I'm gone, but I don't know. So far they just haven't done it. Could be a lack of opposable thumbs. Who knows? Right, Rory? I tell you all the time when I leave, keep the fire going. But do you? No. I tell Ramsey too, but he's usually too busy doing this. That's looking a little better. As tempted as you are, you don't want to remove all the ashes from the wood stove, because if you do, you're going to have a hell of a job getting a fire going again. It's always good to have a little bed and kind of like pile it up in the middle. It's just easier to start a fire that way. Half a cinnamon stick and some cloves. Should smell pretty good in here soon. Ooh, got the fan going now. I walked outside for a second, and I shouldn't have. Well, more than a second, a few minutes. It's getting pretty close to the danger zone there, but I got the door closed and the draft closed a bit, so we're good. Anyway, back to the issue at hand, the power converter. This is my temporary solution. Running a power cord to the generator here. What the hell is that? Huh. A helium balloon. Tangled. Oh, jeez. Look at that. And it still has air in it. People, don't let your helium balloons go up into the atmosphere. I don't know why somebody let this go. Hopefully it wasn't trying to reach a loved one in heaven, because I hate to break it to you, it's not going to make it. It just comes back down here on Earth and it's trash. You're just littering. I'm not trying to be rude, but that just really chaps my ass when people do that. It just drives me up the wall. All that happens is that these end up in the stomach of sea turtles, whales, shorebirds, and other animals, and then they die. So don't let these go. It's all good. I will dispose of it properly. Yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, this is what I'm doing to remedy my power converter issue, if it is a power converter issue. Yeah, so I think I've showed clips before. I've unplugged the trailer, went and bought this cord because it was long enough to reach. This yellow cord I had just wasn't long enough to reach, but I've got it plugged in there, and I've got it plugged in here. So now when I need to run the generator, you know, I have to plug things into these plugs here. Not a huge deal. The downfall is that the generator, because the trailer is not plugged in, is no longer running my lights or any of the outlets in here. I don't run the generator much anyway, so if I need to use it for just one thing, like blow drying my hair or what have you, I could just plug it in over there. Not a big deal. I'm still trying to figure out if it is my power converter that's the issue. So I'm going to see how things go by me making this change. If it no longer does that, if my power no longer just goes out on me, then I'm going to assume that's what it is. I might try plugging the trailer back in at some point to see if it does it again. But I don't like doing that, because then I have to mess around trying to get my fridge back on DC power. And because I don't know where the problem lies, I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to fix it at some point. But yeah, so far hasn't been much of an inconvenience just to plug things in over here when it's necessary to do that. Just don't have any operational plugs anywhere else. Somebody also mentioned the possibility of it being a bad ground cable, I believe. Maybe it is, I don't know. I'm not familiar enough with electrical to know, but if you guys have any ideas, like I said, maybe just drop them in the comments below. But yeah, I think that's going to be it from me here. Hopefully you're all doing well. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully I will catch you in the next. Bye. Don't worry, I'll pick up your trash for you.